We're seeing a new side of transfer market and recruiting right now for Oklahoma State. We're making a late surge, and it looks really, really, really good.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things cowboy and cowgirl related. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by. My name is Cody Stovall. I'm available at Twitter all day, O State. Also on Facebook, O State all day. Available on all podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. Thank you very much for making this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. Yeah, so basically, with all the transfers and the recruiting and all that fun jazz that we have going on, the fact that the Gundy and staff are kind of hitting home runs, especially if there's even any uncertainty at all, as it lies with maybe some of the coaching stuff, regardless of what direction that's going to go. Clearly, players are bought into something moving forward. Not only the ones that are currently on campus that are wanting to rock again in 2023, but also the ones that are coming in. And where has our massive amount of struggle been recently? Well, obviously, it all starts with the big hog mollies, as they would say up front. If you have success up front, whether it be offensively or defensively, it's going to give you the ability to control the game a little bit more, which is obviously going to be key. Well, for the last 15, 16 years, we've been kind of shifting more towards speed, which means that we could hide some of the deficiencies, maybe if the offensive line couldn't quite, push people around or give that full 3-4 seconds protection and pass pro for the QB. So speed can sometimes offset a little bit of deficiencies that you have, as well as obviously, a pace of the game, speed of the game as well. So these are things that we've relied on fairly heavily. And as I say, we should maybe look at this as a little bit more of a blast from the past when it comes to recruiting effort, because what did Les Miles get? He got those guys that were maybe a little bit raw, that needed a little bit of work, but they were just ruthless. They were just ready to, get out there and do whatever it took 24/7, no matter what. At the end of the day, it's about getting the W and doing whatever it takes to do so. And if that means creating a little bit of uncomfortable, making everybody uncomfortable on the other side of the sideline, then so be it. Sometimes it's part of the game. And so the Les Miles teams weren't afraid to mix it up. Now, the beauty is our talent right now is significantly way, way head and shoulders beyond what the talent was back then. Now, did we have talent? Yes. Again, we get to think back to the Rashawn Woods and the Dwan Woods and even Donovan Woods. And Josh Fields obviously had a pretty good run at things. Tatum Bell, Vernon Morency. And then you look into even some of maybe the Alonzo Mays a little bit later on. Obviously, our W. McCorders. But you kind of dive back into some of that mentality difference. So maybe we saw a little bit this year that you can have an overabundance of talent and you can have quite a bit of youth and depth. But if it's not all orchestrated the right way, then clearly sometimes it just doesn't work like you want it to. So then you look at, okay, what holes do we know we need to fill? Clearly, O-line is the biggest one. And since we've been on this transfer kick, and as we kind of start segueing into a little bit more of the high school side of things, we got to start with that, right? That's where it starts. That's where it comes from. If you got the big dudes up front, you're going to be successful. It's just part of the game. So in going with this recent kind of transfer style stuff we've had going, we got to go with, again, our main man, Dalton Cooper. The offensive tackle standing at 6'7", 290 pounds, out of Prague, Oklahoma, who hadn't given up but 7 sacks and over 1,320 some odd snaps. That is just astronomical numbers. And, when you have somebody this talented and you get him to come back home, Not saying that Gundy isn't, at least historically speaking, quite a ways above Lance Leipold, but wasn't that Lance Leipold's number one objective was to bring guys from Kansas home, bring the dudes back home that wanted to make a difference, that wanted to transform KU football. Well, we've been doing a lot of that legacy type of thing here recently, and this kind of falls directly in line with that. So, bringing somebody as massive as Dalton Cooper back home, again from Prague, Oklahoma, you can't teach that size. You can't teach the tenacity that he plays with. And it takes a lot of technique, it takes a lot of accountability, it takes a lot of discipline and leadership to go that many snaps without giving up something. You don't see stuff like that very often. And it really has to get you, again, excited about what we do, in fact, have coming. What is coming to help protect what's already there? It's massive. It always has been. It always will be. And, it's really refreshing to see that we're attacking it this way. It's really refreshing to see that Gundy obviously is approaching this a little bit different. And before we get on a little bit further on down the road here, everybody knows that betonline.net is, in fact, your number one source for sports betting news, stats, analysis, and info. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college football, bowl season to basketball to World Cup, we've got you covered at betonline.net. Even if you love podcasts, we've got you covered there as well. We're always the fastest and the easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more. Bet on the line. It is where the game starts. And here on Locked On Oklahoma State, our only objective is to, again, just try to point you in the right direction. So to have somebody like that come back home, obviously, it's huge. And then to also know that, we're in on some other people and we're going to have some more opportunities. It makes you feel really good about where we're at. It makes you feel really good about just kind of, where we've been developing to, because I think that it's fair to have some questions here and there about what direction we were going to be able to go. So now that you have somebody like Dalton Cooper coming in that can shore up the outside, that can allow Caleb Etienne to maybe grow a little bit, right? To have a little bit more maturity. Then you got to talk about somebody coming in that we stole at the last second from Navy. Again, you got to think about the academic side of it. You got to think about the accountability. If you're willing to go sacrifice your time and your effort for your country after your time of football is over with, that says something about somebody's mental fortitude, right? Their intestinal fortitude and ability to take something head on. So we gotta give kudos to somebody like a Gage Stanaland, who came from Tuscola, Texas. Again, another person on the offensive line that when you watch his tape, he is a pulling madman. They love to have this dude pull. Now he's currently over at the right tackle spot. Where he's most likely going to be projected at Oklahoma State is a little bit more interior, so probably a guard, which is great because pulling guard sometimes can be more effective even than a pulling tackle. At 6'5", 290, he's got a good mixture of raw power, really, really, really good ability to be agile, right? To get east and west, not as much, always just north and south. His recruitment really kind of rapidly came on, right? He was somebody that came on kind of late. He made his visit November 12th, and he announced that he had, in fact, received an offer from us. I think it was a little bit later on the 16th. And then he followed with news of his commitment less than a few hours later. He had offers from places like Louisiana Tech, Navy, New Mexico State. And he does, again, fill a need of somebody that is ruthless. He's got that mean streak, that nasty dog in him. As Pat McAfee and the boys would say, he's a dog. And that's, again, the biggest theme with all of these guys, regardless of what you think about their technique, what you think about their first step, back, whether it be a tackle or their ability to be a pulling guard or the size or lack thereof or whatever. The tenacity is something I have not seen for, I don't know. I don't want to say ever, but a very long time. This is not your normal, traditional, all day, every day Mike Gundy style recruiting class. It's just not. We're going after more aggressive dudes. We're going after more hog mollies that can make a difference down low in the trenches. And again, it starts with attitude. These dudes' attitude are ready for anything. So their technique will get better. Their ability to kind of see space a little bit better. Their ability to be a pulling guard or a pulling tackle and to come really, really shy down that line to get as close as you can, as quick as you can to the defender to make the hole faster. These are all things that effort plays a huge hand in. And you can't coach that amount of effort. You just can't. Again, so if you find somebody that's got the size, that's got the speed, that's got the athleticism, that's got that mean, nasty dog mentality, you're going to be able to mold it more times than not to how you need it to fit it into the pieces. Just like we talked about the other day, we've got the middle of all the puzzle done. We've got most of the exterior all the way done. Now all we got to do is take the puzzle pieces that allow the corners to just finish getting filled in, which makes all of this even more exciting because it lets you know we're that daggone close. We're that close, and we can see it now. Gundy has said, again, I'm not big on the transfer portal, but the way he's piecing this transfer portal class together right now, along with some of these high school kids coming in, and it's masterful. It's a really good job. I don't give 13 hoots what the number is right now. If you look at the needs that we had and where they had to be filled, we are filling those guys like perfectly, right on the dot. Lose somebody, get somebody of darn near equal caliber right away. No ifs, ands, buts, no waiting around about it. We're just getting it done. And again, it's so fun to see. I have to tip my cap and say it is, in fact, impressive. So now that you've got Dalton Cooper, and then you've got somebody like a Gage Stanaland, then we've got to talk about the guy really who'd been rocking with us for the longest, and that's Jakobe Sanders. Guys, when I was watching Jakobe Sanders film, something that was kind of fun that I just wanted to bounce off real quick was you saw a lot of Gage Brown, the linebacker that we acquired from Stillwater High School last year on scholarship, a good 3-star get that a lot of people are kind of looking into. When you're watching the film of Jakobe Sanders, you see that dude show up a lot. So it's another, remembering, I don't know, the Stillwater High School class of dudes that are coming in and how talented they are. And he's somebody 6'3", 285 pounds. Yeah, he's going to put on a little bit more weight. He's going to put on a little bit more mass. What we're going to need to work on with him, I think, is obviously going to be quickness. So he pulled a lot, when he was younger, 7th, 8th grade year. But when he got to Stillwater High School, they basically relegated him to center, which is fine. He doesn't necessarily have the strongest snap in the world, but he's a legacy. His grandfather, Robert Turner, was an Oklahoma State fullback, and he got to block for the great Terry Miller, and he was here from 1973 to 1976. So the legacy part of it, again, is something that you see kicking in lately with the last few classes at Oklahoma State University and our ability to bring twins in and brothers in. And it really, really, really matters more to these type of dudes. That's just a fact. And when he received his Division I offer from Oklahoma State in December 2021, he knew that's where it was supposed to be. And the cool part for him is he got to play center for Gunnar Gundy. Obviously, he got to play center now for Gage Gundy. Nobody really knows exactly where Gage Gundy is going to go, so that'll be exciting to watch as well. But Jakobe Sanders is somebody that's going to take a little bit of development. But once again, click on the film. Whether you go back to his 8th grade film or his high school film, one thing is a commonality. He loves pancakes. He's driving dudes face mask into the ground over and over and over. Okay, maybe not always face mask because that maybe indicate a penalty, but the backside of their helmet is being smashed into the ground. Another one of these O-linemen that are out there to do harm. They're physically out there to do damage to you, to move you out of the way, to get you going where they want you to get. It's beyond amazing. So, it really is hard to fathom how it's not at least pretty daggone impressive on how this is all being pieced together. And before we finish it off, I think it would be fair for me to remind everybody again out there, guys, LinkedIn Solutions is the best candidate when you're looking to replace anybody in your workforce, or at least bolster your workforce. In today's society, it's a high stakes wager for your small business. Don't take that chance. If you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available, that's why you need LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and right now for free. So your call to action is simply just go with what is trusted the most and why businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering quality hires and leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Again, that is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. So as we continue down this, I don't know, kind of discussion of the talent that we're building, again, it's kind of a slower type of rise, but we got to talk about somebody else that's been on the boat for quite some time, and that's Jack Endean. Jack Endean from Tucson, Arizona, most commonly referred to as Tucson, but in the car industry, we used to call them Tucsons. Oh goodness gracious! So, just little unnecessary take there. But anyways, he's been rocking for a while. 6'6", 270-pound tackle, and where he comes from and hit that part of Arizona, it's typically somewhere we've had some success in Arizona. Recently, not so much, but in the past we have. So it's good to see us again kind of spiderweb out there in the recruiting tree. And this guy at 6'6", 270 again shows a phenomenal athleticism, and he has a knack for getting downfield and attacking the second level defenders very, very well. If he can get up to the second level and he can get onto a linebacker, guys, this guy's really hard to get off his spot. He takes angles very, very well. Out of the guys that we have coming in, other than Dalton Cooper, so from a high school perspective, he's probably the most ready to play. And we had a hard time fending off Arizona State, and California. And I even seen him taking recruiting trips out to Michigan. So he was somebody that was very sought after, which is partially why it leads me to believe that he's somebody that we have coming into this class that if we needed to step in right away, he could be a candidate to do so. And then, to kind of throw a little wrench in everything, I wanted to bring up the punter from Melbourne, Australia. Why? Because Mr. Hudson, Jack, I hope I said your name right, sir. He's hit me up recently, and we're going to get him on the show. Obviously, him being in Australia, we got to work out the time differentiation. But I know that's inevitably going to be a fun one because you've got somebody like a Tom Hutton that has proven to be a massive commodity at Oklahoma State University. And Australia, in and of itself, has kind of taken over the game when it comes to punters and kickers in the or NCAA. And clearly, we will talk to him a little bit more about the takeover, the Aussie takeover of Cowboy football and beyond. But I wanted to make sure that he gets his shine as well before he comes on the show. Because, again, the impact of Tom Hutton, who's a senior, is really cool to kind of think about having another connection. And what they're doing in Australia to get these gentlemen prepared is obviously something phenomenal. And it's something he's going to be able to hit on. And when we gained his commitment from down under, a 21-year-old product out of Pro Kick Australia, again, the same organization that we got Tom Hutton out of. So if it's something that they just have a pipeline to Stillwater, Oklahoma, so be it. If they have a special funky little spin on it that they get to throw in because of the way the wind goes in Boone Pickens Stadium, I'm all for it. CAC is listed at 6'1", 192 pounds. We'll see if he's been getting his gains on, his pains on, his swole on, and how he's going to report to Stillwater, Oklahoma. So when we bring Hudson on, again, it's going to be a very, very fun episode because I want to hear how that all got started, right? And how we've been so blessed to be a part of the evolution of it and why Oklahoma State is such a big part of what they're doing. So that'll be fun. We've got some more people to announce. We've got some more shows to be kicking off here very, very quickly. I love this, guys. Thank you very much for riding in. Make sure you jump in the comment section and let me know some questions that I should ask whenever we do have some of these dudes on, because again, we have way more to announce a little bit later on. So as always, this was a blast. We're going to keep going on this recruiting dive and more with guests. I can't wait, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, it's your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. My name is Cody Stovall. It's an honor and a privilege to be your host. You can find me at Twitter at All Day O State, on Facebook, O State All Day. I love you all. God bless. Go Pokes. And we will do this one again tomorrow. Later, y'all.